looks a lot different than Las Vegas.
Thank goodness.
I love Vegas, but 6 days is a long time in Las Vegas. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Digital Trends Live, our live show here from Digital Trends, based out of Portland, Oregon, broadcasting all over the world, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, every weekday. And we are back from CES, getting back to our regular programming.
Yay, it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. We were down at the Consumer Electronics Show all last week. Thanks, everyone who joined us during that. We really appreciate it. And there's all kinds of videos for you to check out and watch. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on today, but I do want to remind everybody, we are broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you find us. Definitely hop in there and give us your comments. It is exciting to be back here, back to our regular show. Let's take a look at what's on the docket today. We've got an action-packed show coming back with you here. So coming up in a little bit, we're going to be joined by Darren Hendler, who is the head of Digital Humans Group at Digital Domain. Just that title alone is pretty intimidating. Head of Digital Humans Group. So if you remember, we've talked about this before, about some of the companies that are scanning in actors digitally to have them not only be available for later use, but also things like Avengers Infinity War, where you have Thanos and Josh Brolin scanning in the actor and then digitally CGI altering them. They'll be on to explain all of that. So Darren's part of one of the companies that works with that, so we'll be talking to him. We've got Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, to come in and kind of recap some of the stranger tech that we saw from CES, from the Consumer Electronics Show. A lot of really interesting things that came out over that. We've got Peter Karpas, who is the CEO of Starsona, who's going to be on. Starsona is an application to where you can, basically, you pay celebrities for personal greetings. It's pretty interesting, the whole concept of it, and some of the different celebrities that they have on the platform, so we'll be talking to Peter all about that all throughout today's live Digital Trends live show. I'm Greg Nibbler, again here out of Portland, Oregon, kind of getting back in the groove of things as we get back into our regular schedule with Miss Adrienne Warner. Hello, Adrienne.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
How are you doing? How did you recover from CES?
You know, I took a good 10 hours of sleep after I came back, and I feel good as new.
Good. Good for you.
But I'm excited that the conversations are still continuing about all the awesome stuff that we saw, because there's a whole lot to unpack. There's a lot of things that we didn't even get to.
Oh, yeah.
There's only so many hours in a day.
So much. I mean, and we did broadcast 8 hours a day down there, and, you know, had our editorial team covering everything. And again, thank you everybody for following along with us last week while we were there. But yeah, it's a lot to, there's no way, even being there for all that time, there's no way we saw everything or in the big announcements. You know, I mean, we can't even see all of them when it goes on. That's why digitaltrends.com is a great place to go to catch up on everything. Well, let's catch up on some leading news right now. So the big story I think that I've seen the most, that's been trending the most over the last couple of days, or at least over the last day, has to do with Netflix. Pretty much all of us who probably watch this show probably watch something on Netflix.
I would assume that the majority, like 99% of households, probably have Netflix. That's just a guess. But yeah, apparently they're raising their prices about $1 to $2 across the board, across all subscription tiers. So I imagine there's quite a bit of outrage around this. Yeah,
there's some pretty upset people. I mean, it does seem like they just raised them not very long ago. I guess it was a while ago, but at the same time, yeah, $1 to $2 per account level. So the $11 per month becomes $13, $14 to $16. When you get to $16 a month, that's a lot.
It is, and Netflix has so much content. I guess they spent just $8 million last year on their own original content alone.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that they have to offset some of that, but it does make you wonder with all these other subscription models popping up for different channels, that who's going to just abandon Netflix entirely.
Yeah, what's the limit? Because coming out in 2019, we're going to have Disney Plus launching their service, which is taking away essentially, well, some of that original content, but definitely all the Disney programming is going to be going away from Netflix. So if you're especially if I think people with kids, that's going to be a huge
pull in that direction.
Yeah.
And then isn't WB doing something as well, or did I make that up?
Maybe.
Probably.
There probably is a WB streaming service. There's NBC Universal is going to have their own streaming service. That was just announced, I believe, yesterday as well. And it's pretty much every content provider seems like they're coming out with their own streaming service. And at a certain point, you know, it gets back to that question where we all wanted this, we all wanted to cut the cord, we all want to get away from cable, but at what point do we start to go in the other direction where it's going to cost so much just to get all of the all of these different programming, that it's more than cable was.
Yeah, it's just going to be back to the original format.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this works and how this affects people. And since we are broadcasting live, we'd love to hear some opinions. Want to get some comments in here. Vicky, thank you. Vicky says, welcome back. We appreciate that.
Hi, Vicky. Thank you.
Tomas says, Netflix is still a great value. I'm looking at Facebook, and I'm going to get YouTube and Twitch in here too. But Tomas says, Netflix is still a great value. They may be losing some content, but at the same time, they're creating more and more original content than any other streaming service. They do have a lot of original programming. Some of it, I mean, I've scrolled through. It does seem like every time you turn on Netflix, there's some new show that they've created, and some of it's great. Some of it is maybe not the greatest.
Some of it's there.
There, yeah. Like, here's something to watch right now. But yeah, they do have a lot of content that's in there.
It's like the infinite loop of content. By the time you finish watching content, there's more content. I think Saturday Night Live did a skit about that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You watch one show and then 3 more pop up afterward. Taking a look here on some of our other platforms. Oh, Mr. Hacks is talking about how we have a Mac and a PC. I guess we're equally representing here on the show live right now. And then Sortina says Netflix and Amazon Prime is America. I guess just talking about how everybody has Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'm not really sure where you're going with that one.
Maybe. I mean, I wonder if
political statement. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Maybe other countries have more people have Netflix versus Hulu or something like that. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see if there's anybody that actually just jumps off of Netflix. Is like, this is it. This is the cap.
The $2 is too much for me, and I'm out. And I think that'll be, or if you just start seasonally subscribing, like when Stranger Things come out, okay, then I'll subscribe.
Is that maybe what I do?
No. Oops. Or thinking about everybody who's sharing their passwords, maybe, or accidentally doing that. That's
you gotta. I guess you gotta check it and see who's still on your account.
Right. Yeah.
And see if they can give you your $2.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Cough up your $2. Cough up $2. It's time for that. Well, that's one of the big breaking stories, and I think this is going to be something throughout this year that I think we'll see a theme of. It's just with all these different streaming services popping up. At some point, they got to start making money, and Netflix has been losing money. I believe there's still slated to be about $3 billion in the hole, if I have that correct, this year, and so yeah, they got to make up some money somewhere.
Yeah, $3 billion negative cash flow in 2008. It sounds like they're projecting the same for 2019. Sorry, 2018. And not 2008.
And then now, 2008. And now scheduling for this year too. So we'll see where it goes. Let us know your comments, your questions. We have lots of news and things to cover though here, and I do love all these comments that are coming in, so let us know. Mary Jane said they're losing Disney, Marvel, and DC. And that's true, yeah. I mean, with the Marvel original shows, which were suddenly canceled after Disney Plus announced their service, that's definitely something that'll influence me, because I'll probably end up getting Disney Plus. And Disney Plus also stating that they wanted to come in lower than Netflix already.
Oh, really?
So that's going to be a big
That's interesting,
issue.
Considering that their content seems a little bit more premium just in general.
Yeah.
For how big of a fan base there is for the Marvel stuff and kids.
And Star Wars, original Star Wars series, 2 original Star Wars series, I believe, that'll be showing up on there. So lots to talk about. We could talk about that for an hour, I think. But keep your comments coming in. Let's get to our Read 'em and Weep segment. This is a segment that we have every day here for Digital Trends Live. We did it during CES as well, where we take a look at the comments that you have left across our various social media platforms, and some of them do make us weep. Some of them we may just rebut. I don't know. Eric Linden, regarding Fast and Furious fans, get revved up. Toyota's Supra sports car is back. I'm not going to be talking about that here in just a little bit, because we've got that as one of our news stories. No. We had to wait 20 years, and we get a Z4 with a little Toyota aesthetic makeover. Weak sauce, Toyota. Weak sauce. Yeah, kind of covering.
I guess so. I mean, it's not quite as even powerful as the Z4. It seems like from the specs that I read about it just quickly this morning. And the first thing I said when I saw it, I was like, that looks like a Z4.
You did. You said that right when you walked in. We'll kind of go over that a little more detail, but Eric's not wrong.
I mean, if it's bright orange, would he be reconsidered?
Is that the key?
I guess that's the one in the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, that's true.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah, give me the bright orange, and then I'm in. All right, so there we go. So that's Eric leaving us a comment here across the platforms. Keelan on Facebook said, Adrian, with 4 exclamation points.
Aw,
4
what a good day.
exclamation points. I'm assuming that's for a good reason. I'm just going to leave that, unless he's yelling at you with 4 exclamation points. So I don't
Adrian?
really. Adrian! All right, let's see. Edward, regarding Google Assistant updates. This is from a CES 2019 video, I'm assuming that we're looking at from YouTube. Who books hotels without comparing prices? Okay, Google, buy me a car. Okay, Google, buy me a house. I don't care about prices. Okay, I see what you're saying as far as these are some of the updates to the Google Assistant to where you can, they made a lot of updates actually to where you could just book a hotel and be like, all right, I'm going here. Okay, sorry, I'm setting off everybody's. Okay, G word.
Isn't it hey?
Well, you can do both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Both of them work, so I just bought a car and a house for a bunch of people right now.
Let's just say yo.
Yo Google. Yo Google. Yeah, that's one of the things you can book a hotel. Now, I haven't actually tried it, so I don't know if, I'm assuming it's comparing some rates.
Internally, I would hope so.
Yeah, it's not just like, okay, great, here's a $500.
Or the complete opposite. Here's a 2-star hotel like 5 miles away from the airport.
Right, here's the cheap one that you can get. I don't know. I would imagine there's some kind of algorithm in there, somewhere that you can customize that and do it. I mean, I will say using Google for comparing flight prices,
is awesome.
Yeah,
Google
it's
Flights
pretty
is the
good.
best.
So maybe that's the same kind of thing that they're doing for hotels. I'm sure there's some kind of thing like, would you want this one? Or some kind of question back where it's just like, no, this is where you live now.
Yeah, Edward, get back to us on that.
Yeah, let us know. Why don't you try it? All right, let's go on to the next one. Take a look here too at some of the comments. There's still people commenting about different things that came out over CES, and we've got lots of articles and lots of unwrapping to do about CES that we'll be talking about. Let's see. Steve says Netflix will go under. Disney Plus is the winner. Next, Netflix has nothing worth watching. I don't know if I go that far. They do have there's a few programs on there.
Yeah, that's stoking some flames up there.
Yeah, it really is. I don't think they're going to go under, but this could be kind of a hit, so I'm not sure. Vicky says, my Google Home just said, I'm sorry, I can't do that because I don't recognize your voice. All right. Well, it's working out.
Sorry, Vicky.
Jamal Akins. Regarding Not Chill, Netflix is hiking prices across all of its platforms. Got to pay for Friends somehow, and that's with the news about Friends. I believe it was $100 million. Is what Netflix paid for Friends for one more year.
Jeez.
How great must it be just be like
Kevin Brait?
Yeah, or be like just a small role on Friends, like during that whole thing. 'Cause you still get a check. It's pretty sweet.
Royalties. You're just like, yes.
Let me be a walkout on anything, please. So there we go, Jamal, with that comment. And reading through our Read 'em and Weep comments here, I'm not sure how many more we've got, but we'll continue on taking a look here. What we've got, Panzer, okay. We got regarding 2020 Toyota Supra. First look at the Detroit Auto Show. It looks like the last gen Supra had a baby with a Mazda Miata. All right. Okay. I'm not really sure where you want. Maybe there's some kind of a Transformers.
I mean, all sports cars start to look the same after a while. It definitely has that kind of like nice little 60s vibe of like that long front. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. It's a Mazda and a Supra having a baby. So that's what we've got. Let's move on to our next one. Going from Panzer regarding the 2020 Toyota Supra. Zachariah Donoff. I'm just going to say that and we'll move on. I'm assuming I'm saying it right. Regarding in a first for humankind, China is growing plants on the moon. Matt Damon already grew potatoes on Mars, so this isn't even that impressive. Good point.
Good point, Zachariah.
Take that, China. Matt Damon did it first. There is an update to this article actually that was just coming out this morning right before we went on air, because they're talking about how they were growing plants. I believe it was a cotton plant that they were growing on the moon, and I heard that it already died. That was the update that I got, that I saw. I don't have that 100% verified, but I don't believe it made it through very far.
I've killed so many plants.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
The fact that they killed one on the moon is like doing great.
Yeah, in the long run, it's still doing pretty good, even though didn't do, but not as good as Matt Damon.
No.
That is 100% true. All right, I think we have one more here that we can do for our Read 'em and Weep segment. Dave Birdman. The Birdman's in.
Birdman.
Regarding digital trends, the Byton M-Byte has a 48-inch dashboard screen. This is just asking to be crashed. The driver's supposed to be paying attention to the road, but will instead be looking at one of the screens. I did read this article and see this. This is from CES, where it's a giant, like, the whole
huge.
dashboard.
48 inches is huge.
Yeah. where it's all
I
a
have
screen.
a 47-inch television at home for my normal television watching.
This is bigger than your television. And yeah, Dave, I can kind of understand that. I do agree. It does seem like that's going to be pretty distracting.
Yeah.
Because how would you not just sit there and stare at it the entire
I mean,
time?
if it maybe if it goes black or just has very limited functions while you're driving, but yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like, look up, look up.
Idiot. Yeah. Well, Dave, that is a fair point that you have there. So that's our Read 'em and Weep segment. We do this every day here for Digital Trends Live, where we take a look at the comments that come through. Now, we've got just a few minutes to get through some things here because we do have Drew Prindle is going to be joining us here shortly to talk about, I believe he's going to be talking about his recap of CES, and we have a special guest who's also going to be hopping in here to talk about all kinds of different things. We've got lots to talk about today.
About celebrities.
Well, we've got celebrities that we're going to be discussing, and then also we're going to be talking to Digital Domain about scanning humans. So I just have to say it all sinister like that. It's not really sinister at all, but I just want to make it that way.
Are they going to scan you?
Will they scan? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be scanned.
You don't? You
You
don't want to live forever?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I feel like it's not really going to be to my benefit. But then again, yeah, maybe I just force everybody to
You don't want to do Digital Trends Live in perpetuity?
Hello and welcome to Digital. Yes, the scanned version of me will be here in year 2022. All right, let's start.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on. I can think about that forever. All right, let's go to some news. I do want to call attention to this. Just a big article that's showing up at Digital Trends right now. We've got a kind of an article that Julian Chokatu and Andy Boxall, our mobile editors, were working on, and it has to do with Nokia. Like Nokia making a comeback, basically, from a company called HMD.
Yeah, there's been rumors of the Nokia 9, I guess, floating around.
An actual Nokia making a comeback, and which makes me think about it. You know, we are in a little bit of a nostalgia section when it comes to tech, especially when you think about video games with like Nintendo.
Right, Nintendo and the original PlayStation coming out as well.
Yeah, and so maybe will this transfer over to mobile phones? Will people be willing to, go with a Nokia phone? I mean, granted, they would have new technology in it. But it's still
I think everything's cyclical, especially when it comes to fashion. So I think there will be trends, but I think overall maybe the nostalgic format will kind of burn out.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah.
But the question is, do we get Snake?
Is Snake available as a download? I would imagine the old mobile game where you chase the snake around, right? You keep it away from there. Maybe there's probably like a replicator or something.
Probably.
Maybe. But it's not the same unless you're doing it on a Nokia. That's true hipster version of a phone right there. It's got to be on an original Nokia.
The break.
Actually, I'll play Snake on my Nokia. Anyway, you can check out that article at digitaltrends.com. It's pretty interesting about where that company's come. There's a lot to it about bringing back that brand and where that brand is all gone and then where it is right now. So you can check that out, digitaltrends.com. A couple more things to bring up, just referencing this Fast and the Furious Toyota Supra. This has to do with the Detroit Auto Show, which is going on. And I believe it's kind of wrapping up now, but the 2019 Detroit Auto Show, there's a lot that's happened with that. And it's talking about Toyota bringing the Supra back, made famous from Fast and the Furious. Now back. It's been out. It hasn't been sold in the U.S. I didn't realize this since 1998 and went out of production globally in 2002. So the Supra, though, now back with a new version, the 2020 Supra, codenamed the A90.
It can go from 60 miles an hour to 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, apparently.
Wow.
And it's going to go on sale this year for about $50,000.
Yeah. That's about $45,000 more than I would pay, but nonetheless, it still looks cool.
Well, we could take off the tires and all of the cool features for you, and just give you a wheel.
Let's just slim this down as long as it's orange.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that I think are pretty excited about this coming back out. So if you are wanting to drift, right? You can still say drift, right?
Oh yeah, you can say drift.
All right.
If you want to Tokyo drift.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. Seen all of them.
Well, I guess I'm
a fan of the whole.
We'll see
collection.
if it makes it into the next edition, which I don't know which number we're on.
I don't even know anymore. Yeah.
8?
15. I mean, it's hard to say. I do see Raymond says nice looking car on Facebook, and it is. It's a nice looking car. Yeah. When I'm watching my Fast and Furious movies, so I'll make sure that I keep up with that one. Right, I haven't watched them. All right, moving on. We do have something else in the, you could read all about that though, digitaltrends.com and all of the Detroit Auto Show updates. This is pretty interesting. Ford coming out with this and announcing, there's a big article at Digital Trends about this, about the way Ford goes about to test cars.
Yes.
You know, testing cars, you think about, you know, crash dummies and smashing them into walls, but there's actually other things that need to be tested, including the seats. And Ford has developed its own proprietary robot called the Robot. And the Robot, what it does is it simulates a human posterior sitting on a seat.
Yes.
To see how long it can last.
It's used to test over a decade of use, and it sits in the seat 7,500 times, bounces and twists.
Bounces and twists.
And sweats.
And sweats, and that's the other part. They actually put in sweat. It's meant to replicate a large male, is what they said. And this thing pushes down on the seat and twists it, twists and turns 7,500 times, meant to represent like all of that time. They heat it up to 98.6 degrees, and they see how long the seat will last. The 1.4 liters of sweat is a little disturbing. But
I would hope that they don't reuse those seats in production.
Yeah, you can get a discounted seat. That's what.
Oh no!
for the prices that I'm willing to pay, they would end up giving me this discounted seat, the fake sweat seat. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Just a use of technology,
totally,
in order to test that out. So. It's being asked about the smell side of it. I don't know how that works.
Great question. I mean, if you have fabric seats.
It's true. I mean, you do kind of factor that in. I'm not sure where the tech is on that. But nonetheless, you can read about that at digitaltrends.com. All right, I know we need to get to a break. Adrienne, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So back from CES, and coming up next, Drew Prindle's going to hop in here, our emerging tech editor, and then we're going to be talking to Darren Hendler, head of Digital Humans Group at Digital Domain, to talk about all the exciting things that they're doing and how their technology works, where it's going, and just walk through that entire process of scanning a person and then using that for entertainment purposes or all kinds of different things. So we have all that coming up here. We're going to take a quick break and then keep dropping in your comments, your questions, everything you've got. We'll be back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
All right.
All right, we are back here with more Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Wherever you're watching, we really do appreciate it. Of course, broadcasting live across Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all of those things, and so much more, which means we can take your comments and questions as they come through. And joining me now in here, I'm Greg Nibbler. Greg Nibbler. It is Drew Prindle.
How's it going, man?
Doing good. Still getting back on the horse, I think, from CES.
Yeah, same here.
You know, it takes a little bit to get back into the groove after that, but we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit some of your success from CES and some of the different things that you saw.
Yeah.
And there was a lot. There was a lot that went on at CES.
Yeah, it was a weird show.
Yeah, there's so many different interesting like offshoots of tech that we got to see.
Yeah.
You know, that we didn't really expect. That normally, you know, you expect your normal televisions and all that kind of stuff, but really tech is influencing a whole bunch of different facets this year.
Yeah, it was definitely a year for the offbeat tech.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be covering some of the offbeat tech, but we have, before that, a fantastic interview that we're going to be having right now, and I believe we're ready to bring our guest on. I just want to double check with our production crew and make sure that we're all set up and ready to go. Okay, we are good. All right, so this is very exciting. Now, you've probably seen some of the articles on our site about this kind of technology, and I feel like this is such a growing section of tech, and where it's going to go is what's really interesting to me. But we are joined now by Darren Hendler, the head of Digital Humans Group at Digital Domain. Hello, Darren.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Doing great. First off, I want to say, you know, thanks for joining us, but also, what a title. That title, it sounds like it's something from Total Recall.
It really is. It's actually the most fun job I've ever had.
Well, let's walk through what it is, and just to give a basic explainer to everybody who's watching what Digital Domain does, and then maybe what your title means and how that works within it.
Totally. So Digital Domain was founded in 1993 by James Cameron, Stan Winston, and Scott Ross. It was basically a company founded to create some of the best visual effects for movies. And so we just recently, last year, celebrated our 25th anniversary. And Digital Domain has worked on shows from, you know, Titanic, Fifth Element, to Curious Case of Benjamin Buttons, to more recently shows like Ready Player One, Avengers Infinity War, you know, many, many, many other movies and everything. And so, and besides that, you know, Digital Domain does a lot of work on feature films. We do a lot of commercials. We also do a lot of sort of holograms of maybe deceased celebrities and things like that, and a wide variety of different kinds of work.
That is so much to unpack just even in that alone.
Yeah, no kidding.
I want to feel like, why don't we start off from the beginning? So, you know, essentially, you're able to scan images of people in digitally. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Totally. So there's a whole lot of different things we do. So we do a lot of work where we're creating sort of digital doubles. We may be creating sort of photorealistic digital versions of actors. We may also be doing work where we're actually creating a digital creature that an actor is playing. So for instance, where we take Josh Brolin and turn him into Thanos as well. And for all of these different things that we're doing, we're scanning these actors, right? We're scanning the actors. Sometimes we're scanning these actors to see kind of what their facial structure looks like, and their skin, and even their paw details. You know, sometimes we're scanning these actors to figure out exactly how their face moves, so we can transfer how their face moves onto sort of their digital character or their digital form.
So what kind of technology do you use to do that, to get such a high rendering of them?
Totally. So we actually we work with a lot of different companies. We have a lot of technology we've developed ourselves, but we also work with different different companies as well. You know, we work with universities. We work with the University of Southern California. They have a scanning rig where we can actually scan actors' faces, you know, down to their pore structure.
Wow.
So we can each individual pore looks like. Not that we would ever want to really show an actor that, but all of that really goes into what makes somebody look a certain way, the way they do. You know, we have technologies where we sort of, from a helmet-mounted camera, so we actually have the actors wearing a helmet, we have cameras pointing at their faces, and we're capturing from these cameras pointing at their faces all of the ways that their face is moving, and their skin's moving, and their lips may be rolling. And we're using all of that when we're creating sort of the actor's digital form in for like a stunt double or a stunt scene or a sequence that can be shot, or when we're actually taking their performance, their facial performance, and their body performance, and transferring it onto a different kind of creature, like a Thanos or something, that is moving in a realistic kind of a way.
Let's talk about like the Thanos example. Just, so you took Josh Brolin, you did these intensive scans and got his facial features, I'm sure, and how he moves. And then you take that, like, how do you apply everything else over the top of that?
Well, so first off, what we do is we have Josh Brolin, and he's on set and he's performing, and we've got these helmet cameras pointing at his face, and we rebuild a digital version of Josh, so that we know that we've created his face correctly. His face is moving the way his face moved. And then we build this model where we say, well, this is Josh's face and Josh's anatomy, and this is Thanos' face and Thanos' anatomy, and how one face would drive the other. And we build the system, a kind of a machine learning system, where the computer learns how to take Josh's face for all of his different expressions and poses and create that in a realistic way on a character like Thanos with a very different structure or anatomy.
How long does that take to do?
Well, it can. I mean, we can get results pretty quickly, but also when we really want to refine it, it can take months and months to do. But we generally get results pretty quickly from most of these systems, and we have a lot of success where we're able to take actors, capture their faces, and transfer them to these different creatures, even if they're very different in a kind of very realistic way, but pretty quickly, definitely within a month or two. But again, when we want to get the best quality work, we really want to make somebody that is so believable as a creature, right? We'll be spending many, many months on that, just refining every single pore, where every single wrinkle comes on. We'll do things too where we kind of mimic the way the blood's flowing on the face underneath the skin as they do expressions, really, to get that level of realism out.
So I'm curious. So let's say something terrible happens to Josh Brolin, God forbid. He can no longer actually act. Based on the digital scans that you guys have already done of him, could you recreate him digitally and put him in a movie that hasn't come out yet?
So that's a great question, and one we get asked all the time. So yes, we can make a digital version of Josh's face. We can make a digital version of many actors' face that looks very much like them. But the part of it where the actor is actually acting and creating the performance, that's not something we've really ever gotten to be able to teach a machine to do very well, right? And so what makes an actor is their performance, right? And so you always need an actor, somebody behind it that's playing that performance, that's really delivering that. Even if we're taking one person's performance and transferring it onto a different person, or one person transferring it onto a creature, at the base of it is always an actor, generally a really skilled actor that's delivering this great performance, that's driving it. None of the computing, maybe one day it will be possible, but nothing we've seen so far from a machine allows a machine to actually take material and create a believable perforance.
I think that's interesting, just thinking about that aspect, because, so many people talking about AI and artificial intelligence being incorporated, and, even to Drew's point, like scanning somebody in and being like, well, no, we don't need the actual actor. Yeah. The AI will do it. Like, where are we at on the artificial intelligence level when it comes to, especially with what you're doing?
So, we definitely use forms of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and it's kind of interesting because these different terms get sort of lumped together, mean the same things, but they're actually very, very different things. But, we use a lot of machine learning and deep learning for things where we sort of teach computers how to look at a person's face, see what it's doing, and how to drive either their face or somebody else's face or a different creature's face in real time. On the behavioral side, when you're sort of building an artificial intelligence brain and you're asking it to do things or respond to questions or react to things, there's a lot of really interesting work going on there. But at this moment in time, it's hard to actually even build an AI system that will respond to you in texts in sort of text form that you would believe is a real person. Never mind somebody that you can sit and look at, that's talking to you, interacting with you with all the subtleties that a face is doing that is believable. There's a lot of work going on in that area, but I think we're still really far away from that. We're much closer to the side where we can take somebody, create a digital version of them, have them drive the digital form, or have somebody else drive the digital form in a realistic way, but having a real person behind it. And the notion of having a machine drive all of it and responding to you, that's still kind of a ways out.
So we're not there yet. We're not going to have an AI actor winning, best Oscar anytime soon.
No, I think that is very, very far away, right? We may have an actor sort of playing a character that gets an Oscar for the performance and stuff, but at the end, and at the base of it, we always have an actor delivering that great performance.
Where do you see this technology going? Because I feel, we've read stories about a lot of actors having their images scanned for use, probably not for like a big performance, but you look at like Star Wars having, and I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but having different characters come back for cameos and things like that. Where do you see that going?
So I mean, definitely this technology is becoming much, much cheaper and easier to use. And in a lot of ways, we look at this as a tool for movie makers and even for the actors, right? Imagine an actor being able to easily play themselves 20 years younger. Still their performance, but they're making their younger form. Or imagine another actor sort of playing a deceased actor, right? And so again, we have an actor playing that, but you'll start to see more and more of these applications coming out. A lot of things we're doing involves things that are even further than sort of just what we're doing for movies. We're starting to see a lot of this technology move into real time, where maybe I could be in a sort of a VR conference with somebody where somebody's looking and seeing me, even though kind of I'm at home, right? Or we're all in the same area. Or we may start to see sort of another area that we've been working on as well, these sort of artificial digital influencers, where we've got these celebrities that are not real people. They may be driven by real people, but they're an artificial creation with a backstory and everything, live, interacting and talking to people, doing shows and concerts, but they're not really a real person. They're entirely a created thing.
Interesting. This stuff is so exciting to me to see where it's going to go. You talked about the making people younger. I just want to ask really quick, just for that. So is that kind of similar to what like Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel, where he's playing like a 30-year-old younger version, or like Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, which is coming out, where I know Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are playing way younger versions of themselves, because it's the same kind of thing.
Yes, and that's exactly right. And that technology, I mean, at the moment still, it's kind of sort of somewhat tedious and it takes a while to do, but it's getting faster and faster at the moment. And at the moment, it's still pretty manual, but we're starting to see ways where it's actually now transforming into sort of more of a 3D realm, where it's basically capturing the actor's performance and things at their current age, and now they're sort of creating a version of their younger form, one that we can move around and see from different directions. And
wow, are we
being able to sort of really make this much cheaper.
How far out are we from like real time, where you could hold up a camera to somebody and just have it scanned into that?
Yeah, probably not that. I mean, we're seeing versions of that already. Maybe versions that are not that realistic, but are getting less and less cartoony all the time. But I'd say in like 4 or 5 years, you'll take your phone or your tablet or something like that, scan your face, create your digital version. You'll be able to sort of interact with people, seeing them sort of live in the same areas and things. Be able to, maybe you'll be able to sort of do a Skype conversation where you can pick what you want to look like. I just got out of bed and I'm in my pajamas, but I want to look like I'm in my suit and I've done my hair, right? And so, there's all these different things that are going to be coming. Probably the next 4 to 5 years are going to be.
So basically, everybody will be able to watch. We had a little bit of a hiccup there with our connection. Basically, everybody will be able to watch Digital Trends live and know that I'm actually in my pajamas, but then we'll
be able to get like 14-year-old Greg.
Yeah, the
14-year-old
Greg in a tux will be actually delivering the news. Well, exactly. This is really interesting stuff. I mean, you guys are at the forefront of so much when it comes to this kind of technology, and I think everybody's pretty fascinated about where it's going to go. And what do you see are some of the downsides to this?
Well, I think one of the downsides to this is that we've always. When we see movies or movie clips and things, we've always at this moment in time really believed them. Other than if you're in a movie, you can tell, okay, a lot of money was spent to create something artificial. Maybe that didn't really happen. But if you see some clips that somebody just posted to the web, you generally believe that that's something that took place or that was really happening. That's going to change, right? The same way at the moment now we are skeptical about an image. I see an image, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it's real. Somebody doctored it. You're going to start to see the same thing with movies, as this technology allows people to sort of create their own movies, where you may have somebody saying something that they didn't really say at the time, or events that are taking place that didn't really take place. And some of this technology is going to lead to that. I guess on the upside, at the same time as this technology has been developed that allows us to do these things, you're seeing technology that's being developed in the forensic arena to see if that's real or faked material. But one of the downsides really is just this idea that when you see movies, you're going to have to think, I'm talking about like movie clips online, you're going to have to think twice about, where did this come from? Is that real? Did that really happen?
Wow.
That already happens to a certain extent. It's just going to get tougher.
Right, with deepfakes and everything that goes along with it. But I mean, nonetheless, we also get these incredible entertainment pieces, you know, like Thanos in Avengers. Well, you know, I want to say thank you so much, Darren, for hopping on here and talking about this. It's really, really interesting. I'm really excited to see where you guys go with this technology and what to see next from it. And you can check out the article at digitaltrends.com. But where's the best place for people to follow everything that you're doing?
Ooh, I think sort of our company website is probably a good place to start. And, you know, we also haven't really released that much information about some of these things as well. But, you know, very, very shortly, we'll start to sort of do more publicity around some of this new technology we're busy developing.
Fantastic. Darren, thank you so much for hopping on Digital Trends Live to talk about this.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's fun. Now I want to see if we can get scanned in.
I think, yeah, that's the next thing. For whenever you have like a sick day, we can just, we still have the host, and I'm just sitting next to hologram Greg. I'm all for that.
Hologram Greg. This stuff is really, really interesting. So again, you can read all about that, digitaltrends.com, and take a look there. Let's talk about a little bit about what you saw at CES this year. So switching gears here, again, broadcasting live on all of our different platforms. Drop in your comments, your questions, and I'm seeing some definitely interesting things people are talking about. Yep, deepfakes, talking about that. Google Duplex, where this kind of technology goes. But let's talk about CES, stuff that we did actually see at the Consumer Electronics Show in the emerging tech category. I don't know where you want to begin with it, maybe starting off with what you saw for Best in Show?
So I mean, I just want to preface everything that we're getting into with just what I said earlier. Like, this was a weird year. By all accounts, like talking to all of my coworkers and everybody who was on the floor this year, this was a strange one. Yeah. Like, there were not any big hits, it seemed like, in most of the like well-established categories that we're used to seeing from CES. So like, sure, there were like a couple really impressive TVs. There were like a few headphones and speaker technologies that were cool. Yeah. Some cars even, but like there was nothing that really like blew us away, which is part of the reason why our best of show went to a meatless burger. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was impressive on its own, but like, I think just the fact that that won this year unanimously says something about how strange of a show this was. Yeah, and if you haven't read about it, it's the Impossible Burger 2.0 and just kind of the tech behind creating this meatless burger. And we did get to try it when we were down there, and it is good. And as a meat eater, I can tell you I probably wouldn't know the difference if you didn't tell me ahead of time. It tastes like standard like grocery store, like 80-20 hamburger meat. Like it's not the best meat you've ever had in your life, but it's so close to just like kind of crappy hamburger. That's a compliment, but it's astonishingly meatless. It tastes like a backyard burger that you're gonna throw on the grill. Yeah, which is pretty incredible. So we have that, and then some other really, really kind of innovative things. Like innovation, I feel like was a big thing. Not that it's not at every tech show, but innovation more than brand new, televisions and things like. Which there were some televisions. I'm not like knocking on that part, but things like the waterproof fabric, like that was another like totally unexpected thing. Was this North Face fabric? It's called Future Light. It's their new fabric that is basically like a competitor to Gore-Tex. It actually blows Gore-Tex out of the water, in my opinion. I got a chance to try it on. And what it is a completely waterproof fabric that has been engineered on like the nanoscale level to let air pass through but not let water pass through. So it is orders of magnitude more breathable than Gore-Tex is. As you can see even from this video that I shot, this is how they were demoing it. They had a piece of fabric kind of separating two parts of a cylinder. They filled it up with 3 liters of water. No water got through the fabric, and then they switched on a little vacuum on top of it, and it just immediately bubbles start streaming through. So it's permeable to air, but not water. Which, when you put it on a jacket, means that you can have rain protection, but not be sweating inside of your jacket. Yeah. That's nuts. I mean, because I'm so used to Gore-Tex, and I live here we live here in the Pacific Northwest, so it rains a lot. So this kind of material is important for us. But yeah, like Gore-Tex has just kind of been the standard forever. Yeah. So rethinking that is a major accomplishment. And that was a thing that we totally were not expecting to see at all at this show. Like, it was super offbeat, kind of. It wasn't even on the show floor. It was like tucked away in this weird spot. So. Yeah, man, lots of weird stuff. Weird innovations. Those were 2 highlights. I think that like the big takeaway for me that I kind of, if I were to say like what this is the year of, this is the year that like tech kind of got invisible. Like all of the stuff that was like truly innovative that blew our minds was stuff just kind of like disappearing into the background. So like waterproof fabrics. It's just it looks like a normal fabric.
Yeah.
You can't even tell that it's like super highly engineered or anything like that.
Yeah.
Same thing with the burger. Looks like meat, tastes like meat, smells like meat. It's not meat. The tech is invisible.
Right, it's putting that tech way inside.
And we saw that in other places too, like the WISA speakers or WISA or whatever they are, the ones that don't need a receiver anymore. There's this new wireless audio standard, so that they can send digital audio directly to the speakers. They don't need to run through a
like
through a receiver.
With Bluetooth or anything.
It just runs. It's all in the speaker. I mean, that's another thing. Like,
Weird.
It just looks like you're looking at a speaker.
Yeah.
The technology is all hidden inside.
The technology's been taken away from there. I mean, there's a couple other things too, just some of the unique things, and you can check out all this at digitaltrends.com. There's write-ups on and everything that we saw. I mean, and I'm still constantly discovering new things, but there's all kinds of, like you said, this technology that kind of disappeared. There were some interesting ones. There was the Alexa-powered toilet.
Oh yeah,
that was actually got a lot of play, a lot of coverage, which is an interesting use of.
Yeah, no, and that's
an
I
assistant.
think another thing is like Alexa. I mean, even more so than previous years, was in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
It's like literally just like name a consumer product, and there's probably a version of it somewhere that has Alexa in it, and that's like going beyond what we had in previous years, which was like, oh, now everything's like smart. You have smart light bulbs and you can use them with like your phone or whatever. Now you don't even have to use your phone. You can just like shout to it, which is tech becoming more invisible than it was previously.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. There was also the smart beehive. I know there was another one that was.
Oh yeah, that one was crazy. It's a beehive that has a solar panel on top of it, and it uses that solar panel to collect energy and then heat up the hive. And it heats it to a specific temperature so that it kills these mites, these parasitic mites that invade hives and kill bees en masse, which is part of the reason that we're seeing so much like colony collapse disorder and stuff, and like basically all those documentaries that you see that like bees are dying, we're in trouble.
Right.
That's part of the reason, and this hive sort of solves that problem. Yet it just looks like a normal beehive.
Weird.
Yeah.
And so that's, again, like hiding the tech away inside of there. I did see, there was a lot of uses also of technology that were to help society or, beneficial.
Yeah.
There's a company Resolve that's doing different things with, to help catch poachers. So lots of different interesting things that we saw with technology kind of disappearing inside, but still very high-tech stuff that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year at CES. Well, we have a lot to cover, and we do have a special guest who's going to be joining us here in just a minute. We've got Peter from Starsona, who's going to be talking about their company, and we've got, which is basically Peter Karpas, CEO of Starsona, is going to be hopping on to discuss, their app where basically you can you pay celebrities to give you greetings or like happy birthdays or like customized greetings, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to be discussing that here in just a bit. So big thank you to Drew Prindle for joining us, and we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes to talk to Peter about that. But so far on the show today, we've covered a lot at the beginning of the show, kind of talking about a little bit of the Detroit Auto Show. Lots of news coming up there. Again, broadcasting live, so taking your comments and questions, and we've had some pretty interesting ones that have come through. And that was, just before that, Darren Hendler, the head of the Digital Humans Group at Digital Domain, talking about everything that they're doing. So lots to cover, lots of articles, digitaltrends.com. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a second with Peter from Starsona. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live, broadcasting live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all kinds of tech news and headlines and great interviews. And our next interview, I'm very excited to have joining us right now, is Peter Karpas from Starsona, the CEO of Starsona. Hello, Peter.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for hopping on here today. Your platform is so interesting that you've created here, and I thought maybe just to start off, since we are broadcasting live and we've got everybody watching, maybe have you walk us through what Starsona is.
Yeah, so Starsona is a way to help people celebrate everyday moments by connecting to the stars that they love.
And,
right? And so you can buy a personalized video from a star, right? And so you can say, hey, my friend Bill loves you. Can you wish him happy birthday? And the star will record a video wishing your friend Bill happy birthday from you.
It's pretty interesting. And I went there and I was checking out the site. Like, it makes it so, I think it makes people more reachable, you know, in such a quick way that, you know, a lot of these stars and people and celebrities and people you would think of like, well, there's no way I can ever, you know, talk to this person, but you can directly right there through this. How did you come up with this idea for this platform?
Yeah, so, you know, it's funny. One of my partners works with stars all the time, and what he saw was people would come up to these stars at restaurants, in the elevator, and they would always pull out their phone and say, "Hey, can you wish my friend? Can you do so?" Right? And in some ways, he thought that was unfair to most people. Like part of what we want to do is democratize access to stars. It shouldn't be that you have to live in LA or live in New York or somehow get access to a star that way. And a lot of stars want to connect with their fans in a way that is far more personal than Instagram might enable or Facebook might enable. And so literally he called this the Happy Birthday app. He had this idea for years, and we finally hooked up to make it happen.
So you developed the platform for it, and you have this here, and I've gone to the website. Like, how does it work for somebody going there, you know, that say they want to connect with a star? Yeah,
so all they have to do is they go to starsona.com, and there we have close to 300 now stars who have signed up. Everybody from NBA All-Stars to NFL All-Stars to T-Boz of TLC, right? So the T in TLC, we've got T-Boz, we've got sort of a bunch of other stars, 2 people who've been on Team Blake on The Voice, people like that. And the star sets their price. And so literally a fan can just go to the site, they can click on a star that they want, and we ask them, what kind of shout out do you want? Do you want it to be encouragement? Do you want it to be happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever it is? And you tell the star, you just input the information to the star then gets that, and they have 7 days to record the video, and they'll get it back to you.
It is, and you've got a wide range of people on here. I mean, you said NBA All-Stars, like Paul George is on there. He's out of my price range, but there's still some, you know, but still, if you're a big Paul George fan, this is a direct way to talk to Paul George. I mean, there's all kinds of.
How else do you ever get access to Paul George?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're never going to get that. And it's a really interesting way. So when you have these different celebrities on here, can I ask, who was the first celebrity that you signed up?
So the very first celebrity we got was Susan Mallory.
Okay.
And Susan Mallory is a romance writer. You probably haven't heard, but she's a very popular romance writer. She's had one of her books made into a Hallmark movie, and so the very first Starsona video was actually me booking Susan to do a Happy Valentine's Day video for my wife, who reads Susan's books. And so literally the very first video was me booking Susan to do a video for my wife. The person who's done the most is actually Randy Hahn, who's the TV play-by-play announcer for the San Jose Sharks. Right? So all these Sharks fans. And so, again, we have all sorts of different kinds of stars. We've got politicians, we've got trumpeters, we've got Brianna Buchanan, who has 1.7 million followers on TikTok. Right? Just all sorts. And any star can sign up as well. If there's any stars sort of watching this, you can just go sign up in less than 5 minutes. You can be doing these kinds of videos for your fans.
And then you can have that up there. Yeah, I'm taking a look at some of them. There's some interesting ones that we've got impersonators that are on there as well.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus is on there.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty funny. I mean, and there's a lot of different things. You know, a lot of people who want to reach some of these stars too. But then if you just want something interesting like Mrs. Claus sending a greeting, you know, you can hire somebody to be Mrs. Claus and send a greeting.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. The great thing about us is because we're a platform, our definition of star is anybody who has a fan base, right? And it's not us to whether or not to say you have a fan base or you can sell videos. If you think you can sell videos, then you can be on Starsona. And part of the joy of actually my job is talking to all these different kinds of people. I like, I didn't know that, somebody did this, they're on this radio show or something. Point we should get you on.
Yeah, do people? I don't know what do I charge for something like that. I'm not. What's Paul George charge? I'll undercut him by $50, and I'm sure that'll work out really well for me. It's about the same. I'm assuming that's about the same kind of access that people want. It's really cool. So Starsona.com. Where do you see this going in the future? How's it going to grow, and how do you plan to increase access?
Well, the big thing is the more stars we get on, the more useful this gets. We focus on 100% personalized. We don't do something like there was a conversation earlier around should we have the star record a video and then have them record the 200 most popular names and then we stick them together. We don't do anything like that. We want to be at sort of this heart of fully personalized and videos that come from stars. And videos are plenty. There's all sorts of things. We actually just launched Q&A. So let's say you don't want a happy birthday, you don't want to but you just want to ask the star a question. We now enable you to do that. So you can actually film yourself on your phone asking a question, and then the star will respond, and then we stitch the two videos together, and you get this sort of nice Q&A. And so if you want to ask questions, so anything that, again, is fully personalized, we're heavy.
So it's like you can have a custom interview with your favorite celebrity.
Absolutely. Which again, you don't have, how many people have access to like Matthew Dellavedova, who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Right.
Right. Like to be able to ask him, how did you do this particular dribble, or what was your workout regime? Like, you don't have this kind of access. Now you do with Starsona.
That's really cool. Well, Peter Karpas, CEO of Starsona. Where's the best place for people to go? Just Starsona.com?
Starsona.com. STAR and then SONA, which is persona or personalized. So it's Starsona.com is the best place to start.
Fantastic, Peter. Thank you so much for hopping on. That was really interesting, and congratulations and best of future success with this.
And thank you so much, and thank you for letting me do this in my home office. I couldn't make it to the office today, so I appreciate that.
Hey, it looks great. I wouldn't know. Thanks, Peter. All right, again, broadcasting live here at Digital Trends. So I'll be up there soon, so only $3,450. I'll send you a personal greeting. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Digital Trends Live. We're back here, back in action after our CES coverage. And down at the Consumer Electronics Show, we had so many different videos. We broadcasted 8 hours a day for 3 days straight, and we really appreciate everybody who tuned in for that. And just to kind of recap where we were at on the show today, so we've covered so much back here covering our tech headlines. We talked about Netflix raising their prices, which is, of course, an issue. Netflix raising their prices. We did a Read 'em and Weep segment. We had Nokia making a comeback, and you can read all about that at digitaltrends.com as well. We had fans of Fast and the Furious being happy about the Toyota Supra making a comeback, so you can check that out. We talked with Drew Prindle about some of the crazy things that we saw from CES, some of the emerging technology. And then we also had Darren Hendler on, head of Digital Humans Group at Digital Domain, talking about scanning in people and different actors, and about how that's utilized, especially in technology like how we created Thanos, how they created Thanos through Josh Brolin. Really interesting stuff. And then just now talking to Peter Karpas about Starsona and their new platform. Every day it's something interesting here at Digital Trends, and we have new content going up all the time. Digitaltrends.com. Follow, hit subscribe. Wherever you're at, make sure that you're keeping track of everything, and hit subscribe on whatever video platform you're watching right now to make sure you know when we go live with a brand new episode, because we're here every day with a brand new show, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, like I said, and broadcasting directly to you, interacting with you. We read the comments, we read them live, and we love being here with you every day. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow with another episode of Digital Trends Live.